there is so much healing going on in the world. Like
I,
we may
I
not
think
see it.
I think a table is being set by the
Yeah.
universe for healing, like inviting people to. I think we can come willingly, or we'll be dragged to this this place of healing. Yeah, I feel that too. I feel the energy has been for sure uh, powerful
That's awesome.
this
Yeah.
past week. I love that you say awesome because like sometimes it's just like this past weekend. I kept thinking, are we doing this again, universe? Like just a lot of little nicks kept coming, and it was just I wouldn't call it a test. It was almost. I mean, you can call it a test. I feel that it was just reminders of maybe how much I've grown in the past number of years and how much my mindset has shifted.
Mm.
I definitely could have chosen different responses in different situations. Like my reaction was not, yeah, I reacted more than responded. So in certain things, but it was the
Mm.
energy was really just palpable. It was just like it felt pretty intense. I think I say this every time we talk, but like even like drivers are just driving fast. I think I
Yeah.
mention poor drivers every time we talk. But,
Yeah.
but
You're like kind of like scarred by drivers.
I have no reason to be. I've never been in it, you know, and had anything bad happen. But I think people are all on their phone.
I feel like everybody texts and drives,
I
which
mean,
is really bad.
yeah, I think we've all been guilty, or just like even looking at your phone to change your GPS or change a song or something like that split second.
Yeah.
I know I'm guilty. Like I got to stop doing that. Um, but no, I definitely felt there's been uh there, and I know there is a shift of energy. Like last night, you sent me a picture, maybe it was yesterday, actually, of Jupiter and Venus together
Yeah.
in
It's
the
last
sky.
night.
How beautiful is that?
Yeah, it was awesome. I'll have to maybe I'll put that like on the video.
Or you could share.
Like
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah, we had that really nice conjunction on June 9th. And I was feeling so much like appreciation for everybody. I felt like how you must feel every day, Holden, like the love that you feel for like just existing. And I felt that for sure that week. And
I love that.
and then Venus moved into Leo on the 13th of June. And Jupiter will move in there on June 30th. So they're going to be together in Leo, which could be like good energy. They're not going to be as close as they were in Cancer, but
So what tell us what Leo, like what are some like iconic, I guess, traits of Leo energy?
well, Leo is ruled by the sun. Um, the sun only rules one sign, and it rules Leo. It's leadership. It feels like leadership. It feels like I find the Leo energy to be it's fire. It's a fire energy, but I for me, Leo just feels like that, just leadership energy. It's Leo likes to be in the spotlight. Kind of feels like CEO energy to me, if I had to say
Yeah, sounds like it.
that. But yeah, it can be fiery. I think when Leo's not in its on its best behavior, it's very like big ego energy. So having to tame the lion. Um, I know in tarot, the strength card is Leo. Like I have my zodiac tarot, and look at that. That's
Oh, heck
Lion.
yeah. That's
So
awesome.
yeah. So I don't. It's kind of interesting. A lot of my closest friends have like closest girlfriends have been Leos. It's kind of
Huh.
like some of my best friends growing up were Leos, and
As their sun sign?
yeah. So
Cool.
and again, like I'm putting less and less stock in like somebody's sun sign. I want to see the whole picture.
I do bring up astrology by accident or
I know
maybe
I think
by
I talk about it too
accident.
much.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean that's okay because I think being so amplified right now, like in the people's awareness of astrology and other potential routes of thinking, you know? I just think it's a cool point to be in.
Yeah, well, and this kind of goes, I think the more that I learn about the different asteroids and how they show up in a natal chart, like I was telling you earlier, I was studying Lilith and Pallas Athena in more detail yesterday, and it's just the more I learn, the less I feel like I know. But but it's but it's interesting when you see how these different points show up in your chart, and you're like, do we have free will? I mean, that's something that somebody was debating. Another astrologer that I watch, and I didn't catch the live um, stream of this, but I'm going to watch it later. But just that question is like when you realize how spot on things are in your chart, even the timing of different transits and how they impact you. It's like, do I have free will? You know?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like it's a like I like to I feel comfortable thinking that I have free will, of course. But there's so much that is like predicted basically. And like there's rarely like a specific prediction necessarily, but like people just know the what that something tragic might be happening or something lovely might be happening and at like this particular time. And it's just people like well, yeah, I mean, like I'm included, but like people like when they can specifically see like how that'll happen in their lives. It's hard to bridge that gap like of knowledge and like or yeah, awareness, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think that it is kind of, I guess, thinking back to the June 9th conjunction between Jupiter and Venus, and everybody was saying, oh, the luckiest, most auspicious conjunction we've had in, it's been 12 years, 13 years, 12 and a half years since we had this conjunction. Um, and so maybe even just having that thought, oh, okay, this will be a good day. So maybe I changed my thinking about a day because I knew about it.
Mhm.
Like how much am I influencing my actions and my thoughts based on how I know things are shifting astrologically? That said, I I didn't know as much as I know about the timing of things until the past like 5 years or so.
Mm.
And I think I could have minimized some of the lessons I learned or how hard, how challenging they were if I had known. Like even this past weekend, it was almost like, are you kidding, universe? Like it's just one after another after another. And in hindsight, I just needed to pause and not react sometimes. And I was aware, but I still could have handled things differently. I know I'm speaking like
Yeah.
vaguely about things, but like for example, we have something coming up. Uh, I'm excited about this. So the lunar nodes are shifting from
Mm.
Pisces, the Pisces Virgo axis into Aquarius in Leo, and that really happens at the end of July, and then we have a bunch of solar and well, mostly solar eclipses in Leo.
How often do those occur though?
Yeah, so that happens like pretty like around 18 months. So
Mm.
the energy of them, the nodes, and so actually what the nodes are, because people may not understand that, it's they are mathematical points created like when the moon's orbit crosses the sun's path, and
Mm.
it's like an elliptical path. Sorry, they call it the ecliptic, and so then there's also eclipses that happen along that time. So, for example, the energy of the past few years as they were in Pisces Virgo for me personally, I was reflecting back to 2005 to 2008, like roughly that period of time. And reflecting back, I'm like, okay, yes, the story is different, but the energy was very similar and for different things. Yeah, that I don't need to get into like the details of my personal history,
Yeah.
but the energy was. And so I kind of wish I'd understood that a few years ago, but I did not know that. And maybe I could have spent some of these. It was a very challenging period for me personally the last few years. However, I think back to 2008 to 2015 essentially, and I'm really excited about repeating that type of energy going forward starting this year. And so we'll have a number of solar eclipses or things happening with the sun
Mm.
um, in Leo and Aquarius. I don't have the exact dates. I did for something else, but I could look them up. But the point is,
So,
the first one is August 12th, and then that will be in Aquarius, I believe. And what solar eclipses are, they are like new beginnings and new chapters that we begin that we can feel for months or years. And for me personally, I know my second child, my daughter, was born in 2009, and that's definitely a chapter that's still going on. She's 17, and but that was a very welcomed new beginning in my life after I'd struggled for a long time with infertility issues, and so which was kind of the dark period I went through in '05 to '08. But, and then, yeah. And then the nodes ask us to just release things from our life. And then from that release, we can receive. And so I feel that if anybody has felt that they've had to release, like Virgo wants to control, like that's like a kind of a shadow side of Virgo, I think. It's like trying to control and micromanage things in our life. And Pisces is like, let go, just like no boundaries. And um the energy of
okay, I'm sorry, pause.
yeah,
I want to ask, Virgo is the sign, not opposing, but like,
it's
because
opposite
the other,
Pisces. So the axis,
Pisces, I thought it
yeah.
was Aries.
No, the opposite. So the nodal axis is like literally the opposite sign. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's going into Leo and Aquarius, and those are opposite each other. But they're different energy. Like they're not like going to be. So I think some can be more interesting. I'll call it interesting energy being very different. I think that Virgo opposite Pisces to me personally feels like very, very different energy. Virgo like wants to control. It's immutable. Well, Pisces is too, but Pisces has no boundaries, and Virgo wants boundaries and structure. Um, and Virgo, and the shadow side is like almost like self-sacrificing too much and like burning out because you're just giving too much to others, meaning it's of service, like it's a service energy. And I think that Pisces also, the shadow side is like just disillusionment, just like not being like in touch with reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so that could have been some sort of energy people have felt in the past few years, past 18 months, but there's like shades of this that you can feel as the nodes start to shift. The energy for sure. I felt a shift the past, like for example, this past weekend again, there were situations that I was trying to control. And so that does feel like Virgo energy. And we will have one more lunar eclipse, which is lunar eclipses are closure, like the endings.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, we are being asked to just release that control. And that will be at the end of August. I think it's August 24th or August 26th. I don't know. I have to look that up. I should come better prepared with these dates. But uh, so when
So,
that happens, like we are a lunar eclipse in Virgo would be asking us to, it's a partial lunar, asking us to just release that control. And so you would look at where you have Virgo in your chart. And the themes of that house, that's where you're being asked to release control over. And then as we go into the energy of Leo and Aquarius, I'm excited about this because I'm fingers crossed. It feels the same. Like it feels like the new chapters I started in 09, 08, 09. Um, and it's kind of like this downtime before this shift has created the space to start these new chapters. So whatever we've released in the past few years, past couple of years, will create the space to step into whatever we're being called to do.
Yeah, I was thinking like of the 09, 08. You're saying, wasn't that so that was during the time of the 08 or whatever, I think 08 or 09 financial crisis?
I mean, it was also the Aries opposite uh geez, sorry, Aries opposite Libra. Um, and so that's I was including '05 to '08 because like those two shifts for me personally felt like much more like internal soul searching, letting go of control over things I couldn't control, and
Mm,
and having compassion for myself, like critical, like not being so critical. Virgo in the shadow energy of Virgo can be like hypercritical about yourself or others, and um, just kind of beating yourself up for things you can't control. And
right.
then just like letting go. So yeah, so '05 to '08, like that's why I had those 3 years where it's like more than the 18-month window. And so the past few years for sure have felt like that in my life again, but just different experiences, obviously, but it's the same underlying theme. And when you get older, Holden, you can reflect back on these points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that I do believe there's also, and when things go into Aquarius, like new chapters as far as restructuring, like institutions, maybe just restructuring things in your own life. But then I think that in the world, you might see this happening with outdated structures, institutions that aren't serving the people anymore or serving a community and having that restructured. I think also with Pluto going through Aquarius right now, that's something we have not experienced ever in our lifetime. And so there's already been, I don't know, I don't predict, I can't predict anything about what's going to happen in the world, but we're already seeing a lot of people just questioning like financial structures and government structures and how that's showing up and how is this serving our society, the greater good. And Aquarius energy is about humanitarian. It's about visionary for the greater good of um, a larger community. But then also on a personal level, it's just a time to be create new visions for yourself. Like, what do you want to accomplish? And thinking outside of the box, sort of, it can feel like electrical, and you might get downloads of energy that just like a an idea just might come to you and feel like almost like a shocking like electrical shift, and then you
Yeah.
decide that you want to just do things differently. That's the energy that I expect we will receive. And I wouldn't be surprised if people get like just out of the blue. Again, thinking back to like '08 for me, '08 to like onward to like 11, it was just a lot of shocking but welcomed new chapters happening in my life, and things that I thought weren't even possible. And so that's kind of exciting to just believe in the possibility. I think a lot of people have kind of given up on certain things, or just having to accept the status quo. And it's almost like when we just kind of accept it as it is, that's when we can allow change because we're not fighting it. We don't even saying like we've already planted that
Yeah.
where we want things to change in our own lives or in the greater society. And when we allow it or just say, okay, we've put that seed out, planted that seed in the universe, and then what else is possible. And I think that we're going to see a lot of surprising possibilities in our own lives, but I think in the greater society. What do you think?
I think it's of things being revelatory during this chapter, as you'd say.
Mhm.
I think I don't know. So like it's a tough thing to like because I'm pretty confident. I know we're not. It's silly to think we're alone in the universe, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And um yeah, like that's like I can't like comprehend how that would be a reality. And like I think the convenient line of and revelations that have been going on are pretty crazy, and they're pretty is it feels so sequential to like the or in order or orderly to this revelation that we're not alone. But then there's of course a lot of things. I think you were saying was it Neptune is the revelatory kind of planet, or is that Uranus?
Uh, well, Pluto expose can expose like secrets,
Mm,
or but it could also create just in Aquarius, but it can expose things that just aren't working anymore. And
mm,
it can also give this drive to change them. So yeah, I guess a dark side of that is like it exposed things that don't oh, this has been
yeah,
happening for 20 years. Like, but
yeah,
it can also create a lot of um liberation, but it can expose dark things or hidden things that have been hiding. But it can also be a great motivator to change. Uranus for sure is the unexpected breakthrough, sort of break free, breakthrough
mm,
energy. And that's happening in Gemini only for the next, oh, it's been there since April, like fully in Gemini since April, but it's like 8 years or so. So,
mm.
but that can cause a lot of, and they're both in air signs, meaning, so there could be a lot of, like I said, unexpected. I would say, trust your intuition on things. I think intuitively, we're going to just receive, like I said, just ideas and thoughts, maybe have conversations with people that will spark a new curiosity or new ideas about how we want to show up in our own lives and then in the bigger community. So, I mean, I think it is pretty exciting. I think that it can be scary for people who don't like change. Um,
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of us, well, I'm an earth, I have a lot of earth energy in my chart and air. I'm mostly earth and air. And the earth energy in me as a Taurus rising is like, I like change, but I kind of want to have like a roadmap. I
Yeah.
like to
You like a
understand the change. Like,
structured change.
I don't want to be like, blindfolded, like going into it. Yeah. But, so yeah, so August 12th, we have a total solar eclipse. And that is, um, and then yeah, August 27th, we have the partial lunar eclipse um, in Virgo. That's the last one we have in this axis. So that could be a final closure of that Virgo energy. So it's kind of exciting. I'm trying to think. I think that the one on the 12th is in Leo. Let me see.
Well, the one on 13th is Venus and Leo.
Oh,
Are
oh,
we talking?
oh, so yeah, no, Venus moved into Leo on the 13th. And so of June. And Jupiter moves in there for a year. So Jupiter will stay in Leo for 1 year. And so that
Mm,
will be at the end of June. So you can think back 12 years ago. So Jupiter spends about a year, give or take 12, 13 months in each sign. And so you might look back to 12 years ago and ask and reflect upon what was happening in my life 12 years ago. And that could be the same energy that you will find for the next year. And and again, it's not going to be identical. So if somebody didn't have a really positive experience 12 years ago, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same thing. But maybe somebody might feel like, well, like 12 years ago, I was really, I felt really isolated for whatever reason. And then you might think, okay, understanding that could be a similar theme. How can you make the most of that energy? So, and usually those times of isolation, the universe just wants us to like reset, reboot, and again, create space for what's to come. Like if we were constantly receiving abundance, that's not healthy. That's out of balance. We need
Yeah.
these rest periods to create space and make room for what we're meant to receive. And that's like, part of like also manifesting. I think about, like I was saying, back to 05, 08, that's when I started practicing yoga. And that period of my life was definitely a time when I went like more inward. And then I
Mm,
think back to the last few years, and that's when I started really getting into just like the depths of astrology. And so for me, it's like these shifts of the nodes when it's Pisces Virgo, that's a time for me to get spiritual in some way. So 18 years from now, I wonder what I'll be doing then. Maybe Reiki. I have no idea.
yeah.
And so
Maybe it's something that hasn't been invented yet.
maybe, maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to see. Okay, so yeah, so it is August 12th. It's a total solar eclipse at 20 degrees Leo. So it's kind of cool. You can look at your chart and see where you have planets at 20 degrees, especially if you have a planet in Leo at 20 degrees, that could really impact you. I have no planets in Leo. Uh, and I'm going to see. So I don't know if you can look that up yourself, but regardless, it's going to feel like closure in some area, and it's like not necessarily like, oh, heavy, like everything falls apart, but people might feel a chapter closing in their life. So um
Yeah. Which is a chapter closing, like that's intimidating and so and yeah, that's intimidating and
but you have to
you
have
know,
endings to have beginnings. Like we can't
yeah.
always be starting something or having great chapters. Like something has to end again,
Mhm.
like just to maintain the balance in our life. So
Yeah. It's a cycle.
yeah.
And it's crazy how much as that has been shown for me. Like the cyclical nature of everything is oh my gosh, dude. It's just a lot. But I don't know, I think having that like and not being like critical of it. I mean like that's silly. That's like some cartoons basically or like, like movies. But like reality, really, if we were to actually like, legitimately zoom out and take our bias and like our ego's bias out of the picture, which is very difficult, it's would be like there's we have so much more control or like so much more ability to access um and I don't know, like I think it's just it's a lot. I don't know, I'm excited about it,
Well,
just about like the openness and like we are creating this thing.
wait, aren't you a Leo rising?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh wow, that's going to be cool for you. Okay, it is in Pisces. So I was, again, like I was looking at all these dates, and so I just pulled it up, and I should really have this stuff prepared before we talk. But like,
Yeah, I'm a Leo rising.
so you're going to have these on your first and your seventh, and so you might see a lot of again like new chapters in your identity, how you show up,
Mm,
and so like the seeds you've been planting, where they've been happening for you in the Virgo. So your second house area. And like, anyway, and you're, it's almost like, I think the way I feel it for you is like the seeds you've been planting in your self worth over the past like year and a half, just kind of like believing in yourself and things you've been doing are going to, you're going to see new chapters of that happening in your first house of identity. So all the stuff you've been doing in the past year and a half is going to create like a new way that you're going to show up in the world and how people are going to see you. Like, I think just what you've been doing with helping the community for, people with brain injuries and then just sharing random thoughts like we're doing right here.
Yeah.
I don't know how inspiring it is when I'm getting half of my data wrong, my facts, but like, but I guess where Pisces is for you is your is it your ninth house? No, Pisces
Hmm.
for you is your eighth house. Yeah, your eighth house. So it's almost like the stuff you've been doing, kind of doing behind the scenes. So like those two houses are not really, they're not, they're just like, they're kind of like, I call them like behind the scenes sort of houses, like things, the eighth house more than the second house.
Mm.
Transformative is the eighth house energy, Pisces for you. So you're going to have one, maybe it's a partial lunar eclipse there at 4 degrees. And so if you have any things in Pisces at 4, it's going to be a closing of that chapter. And and again, if there's any aspects between at 4 degrees between your eighth house of Pisces and other parts, that will be activated by this lunar
Mm.
eclipse. But what's more exciting is the total solar eclipse. Again, new chapters starting August 12th at
Yeah.
a theater near you. I know. I actually have my sun degree. My sun sign is 1 degree Pisces, and my Mercury is 9 degrees Pisces. So I'm going to have, and it's my 11th house of friendship. I'm probably going to say goodbye to a friend. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh wow.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. No,
That
but
escalated quickly.
no, I have definitely in the past 18 months felt a lot of shifts in like my chosen community of friendships and the people, just even, you know, how you and I met on the meetup group
Mm.
and just the spirituality like bend I've taken to people I choose to spend time with, like the networks I choose to, and the friendships I have chosen has definitely shifted in the past 18 months. So that is super exciting for me. And I think that because of that, it's helped me like step into my own, like find a new authentic voice and just lean into that more. And it kind of feels good, to be honest. I kind of excited about what's to come.
I love that.
Yeah. And then, so one thing I wanted to also say is, well, we had a lunar eclipse in March, and that
Mm.
was in Virgo, March 2026. And then, so there's been like a lot of endings in this axis. So again, like the lunar stuff is their ending. So I'm excited though about a ton of solar eclipses coming up. We have, and that's again like in February 6th, 2027, solar eclipse in Aquarius. February 20th, my birthday, a lunar
Heck yeah.
eclipse in Virgo. So there is another one happening there.
Wait, so on your birthday there's a lunar
Yeah.
eclipse?
That's okay. It's at 2 degrees.
That's cool.
Interesting, but yeah, it's 2027. So there is some, you had to say these like lingering. They do linger a little bit. You'll have some, again, like one more closure in Virgo, but then, yeah. And then the total solar eclipse at 10 degrees Leo, August 2nd next year. So yeah, it is an exciting time for sure. I think
Yeah.
that, a lot of things will be changing and shaking up in the world around us and in our own personal lives. So yeah.
I feel like it's a what's like a what's like a way that like you would say you I don't know that people can also like what are some key points that people may start noticing in their lives and that'll like kind of signify that this transition is happening? and it's
I think that there's going to people are going to feel this like internal urgency and like motivation to it could show up that way, like to make these changes, and it will just it's going to feel like I said, like I was like a jolt back to okay, I've got to do this now. But there's also going to be opportunity to do things that where you may have felt stuck in the past, number of months, years. You're going to have a clear path or obstacles maybe removed just out of the blue. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can do that. And it might be a new approach that you hadn't thought about. And that feels like that's like the Leo energy I'm feeling. And also the Aquarius energy, like this like internal urgency to step into your true authentic self and to find um, you know, again, depending on where it falls in your chart,
mm,
like for me, my fourth house is Leo. That's my home. Like maybe I'll feel this like burst of energy just to move. And I honestly I have been having this like itch to like possibly move locally, like not away from here, but that seed's already been planted. And then my 10th house, Aquarius of career. And I have felt a shift in a desire to do something different and to make, to help um, connect with like a larger groups of people and sharing information. So
I love that. And I as the just knowing I was just thinking, knowing myself, I think it's pretty funny, like abiding or like, feeling so like I feel like so like Aries energy, I mean obviously consistently considering that's my sun sign. And I feel like, but then there's the defiant side of me that's like kind of also wants to, be opposing to. So it's kind of funny that I would say I go with what is said basically of Aries, when as I become more aware of it, like I feel like, wait, do you think that could be like inviting me to be more opposed to those things?
more opposed to
Like
change.
the attributes of Aries
No,
sun.
I think it's complementary. They're both fire signs, Aries and Leo. And
Yeah.
Leo's your rising sign. So that's even, I think the energy will be very complementary. Like I could see your sun sign is in Aries, and I could see that these eclipses happening in Leo is going to just give extra fire and energy and purpose to what you want to do, like what career you want to do and how you want to show up in your own I think this could be like an activation of your profession and like what you want to do, like your purpose, how you want to make your mark, I guess, in the world.
Mm.
That's what I'm thinking for you because you have those complementary energies with them both being fire.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't think about so Leo is opposing Aries, like
No,
or
no, 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 no.
or not opposed, not a, well, yeah.
Also,
Well,
so like Leo, another thing about the Leo and Aquarius, like so Leo and Aquarius in your chart are opposites. So Aquarius is your seventh house of partnership.
mm,
But I think that where the energy will feel different than the Virgo Pisces, which are both mutable signs, um, meaning like just, I don't know, I always think of it as, for me personally, I feel like they want to have boundaries, but sometimes they just don't. I mean, it's just that the energy can be feel really, can feel unstable and it's just a different vibe. But Leo and Aquarius are both fixed signs. So it just means that the energy just feels more, for me, it just feels more stable and just more focused. And I will feel more driven to do things that maybe you had an idea in the past with the Pisces Virgo, but you didn't act on it, or you maybe did too much in one area of your life and the focus should have not been so much in that area. I'm just thinking that's just coming to me. But yeah, I think that the energy will feel more stable with Leo and Aquarius and just more driven. And Aries is a cardinal sign, which means it's like the very first sign of a season. So it's the very first sign in spring. And
Mm,
cardinal signs are just like they are initiative, like they take the initiative. So I think that you already have that fire in you and the initiative to do things and to start things. And what is going to happen, I think, with this Leo energy is you're going to see it through. Like there's going to be completion. I think you've mentioned before that you've had a lot of ideas in the past, but then they just don't, they may not go anywhere for whatever reason. Or
mm.
starting things. Is that what you've said before about
Yeah, I'm
starting
like
things and not finishing them?
100%. Like I'm really, really good at starting things.
Having great ideas,
But
but this, you're going
yeah,
to see it through. And so maybe because of the mutable energy we've had the past 18 months or so, it's, you know, having like a dreamy, I have an idea and then just kind of getting lost in the daydream of it and not seeing it through. And that's fine. I think those are good. It's good to have that energy to plant that seed. And it's almost like planting the seed of the manifestation to come. But now I think for you should take advantage of the next 18 months of just completion and sticking to the course because your ideas are meant to become a reality. And you're going to feel that I believe more than you have possibly felt it in the past 18 months. Like if that makes sense, then that's
mhm.
that.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's like a lot of the Leo Aquarius like determination and just like stability and seeing things through. And um, yeah, I have a lot of fixed energy in my chart. And I guess, another thing about this energy, like I guess like a downside of it could be that just being committed to something too long, like staying in something too long when you knew it wasn't working out, whether it's a relationship or just a situation, and like not giving it up because you're so determined, you know, to see it through. And I can speak from that personally as I'm a Taurus rising. That's fixed. That's a fixed sign. And Aquarius is my 10th house. That's where my moon is. Um, and that is also, and I have my Jupiter. Like I stick to things. Sometimes I stay in things too long and it is what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, Capricorn is where I have my Venus. And so, yeah, very loyal to a lot of things in my life and like staying past the expiration date of them, which is fine.
Yeah.
But and so that could be like the downside of this energy, if there is a downside of just like committing to a path that like if you have an idea and it's like not working, trust that it's like not working. But I would say keep trying it and then like make sure that you've exhausted all options and then you can walk away from it. If you really feel committed to something
Mm.
in your career ambitions. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, no,
babbling.
I totally, I think it does.
Yeah.
Um, like just because you're not seeing it, kind of emphasizes the like just because you're not seeing the results like at the beginning, it doesn't mean they're just not gonna finish with the results that you desire. You know, I don't know, like that. Other than that, like that's how I kind of interpret it.
I think also it's like there's always even when we stay with something, we learn so much about ourselves and every day we have a chance to reset and start over. Like every morning we wake up as a new beginning, a new opportunity to do things differently or not. And there's always something to learn like about ourselves or about the situation or about people in our lives when we share experiences with them or in that situation. So
Mm,
there's never anything negative about any of this. It's just something that we need to learn or to grow from.
yeah.
So I shouldn't say, oh, the shadow side, but that is like the stubbornness of fixed signs. There's definitely a stubbornness. I can speak to that. I can be pretty stubborn about a lot of things. And I guess the stubborn's not bad as long as like ego does not overtake things, which could be Leo energy, the ego of that, you know.
Mm. Now, so yeah, you would say the ego is heavily Leo, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Or
well,
vice versa.
yeah, ego for sure can be if it feels like you're not really being your authentic self, then you have to just check is it my ego getting in the way, or am I just determined to make this work, which also could be ego. Just understanding like, are you are you still receiving the energy from a situation that you're giving? Like it's an energy exchange. And if that feels out of balance, just assessing where the imbalance of the energy is.
Yeah, that's interesting
Yeah.
for sure. Um, yeah, I was thinking like, what did I see? There was something I saw. No, I can't remember. Um, yeah, dang. Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting, and I've been really trying to. I gotta do my class today, for astrology, um, and like it's cool being at like the beginning, like, cause I don't know, like as you get older, you can kind of think about the way you previously, your train of thinking when it comes to learning things, like for school, for example, or at school, for example, um, is just the way your learning transforms. Like, what do you, because you have a self acknowledgement of, maybe you lack, maybe you kind of stink at numbers, so you develop like strategies. Naturally, you develop these strategies to retain or learn whatever it is you're trying to learn. And I feel like astrology is a good example for that. And because it's such a wide, I mean, clearly it's a wide expanse of knowledge to be learned, and it's ever discovered. I don't know, like, so do you think, attached to that, do you think, say in 100 years, like I mean, it's a short but a long ways away. But like, do you think astrology will still be like considered like it is generally?
I mean, I think that I was hearing this, gosh, I heard this on a podcast the other day. But I knew it intuitively anyway, or just when Neptune entered Pisces in 2011, there was a lot more curiosity about mystical studies and astrology kind of took off. I heard also that a lot of like Gen X or younger generation, not Gen X, that's who I am. What's your generation? Are you Gen Z or
Gen Z, yeah,
okay?
Gen Z.
So a lot of like the TikTok, I'm not even on TikTok. That movement, like astrology during COVID became a thing. I think when people were curious to just trying to understand because it was pretty chaotic. Like, and people always want to make sense of what they can't understand.
Mm.
I think that's how we survive. Like it, humans, like we become solutions oriented. So, like understanding why something is happening makes us feel more comfortable, and it alleviates any anxiety. Information. We're anxious because we don't know. We get anxious in uncertainty. So, I think people were looking for that. But then also the Neptune being in Pisces, that really stimulated a lot of interest in um, tarot, astrology, whatnot. I think in 100 years, like because there's so many people sharing information in different on different platforms, people are
Mm,
become will become more aware of it. And I think, it's astrology's been around for thousands of years. I It's interesting. I've been studying I'm starting to study like the ancient like Hellenistic astrologers and what they observed, was an astrologer from the second century.
mm,
So and from Egypt. And like what he was observing, it's accurate still today. And so when you read his book, and I've been reading it online and I've been referencing it when I'm trying to understand like the nuances of planets. I just recently did like a deep dive on Jupiter and Venus, and it's just fascinating because it still holds true. And so they would look at the planets and I guess just observe what would happen around them when they were in certain part, places in the sky,
mm,
understanding that. And then they wrote this down, and yeah, he has a 10-volume book series called The Anthology,
mm,
and it's about ancient astrology, and it still holds true today. And it shows how they
it's
would read
incredible.
how they would read horoscopes 1,800 years ago.
Yeah, that's so
Um,
ridiculous.
it's pretty cool. But so yes, 100 years from now, it's like feels like a drop in the bucket.
Mm,
Um,
seriously.
I think there will be more awareness, and people have to find their peace and comfort in understanding through something. If you don't, then that could trigger a lot of anxiety and fear in you, whether it's
Mm,
God or believing in all of the above. Um, so it's astrology's helped me understand certain things in my life. And again, this goes back to like, did I have free will? And like looking at my parents' birth charts, because I have those too. They both passed away. It kind of gave me a different appreciation and compassion for them and what they've done, and just the contract that they made when they chose to be born at that time. And it's so I saw a lot of what I already knew about my parents and their charts, but then I also saw things that where they may have struggled in their lives. And it just gave me a lot more compassion for the path that they were on when they were here.
yeah, that is like I don't know, like I'm just thinking about like the fact that like it's such a deep topic. I mean not topic, but it is a topic, but such a deep thing. Um, I mean, in correlation to your life and everything, the people you meet, the decisions you make, the schools you go to, the jobs you have at these specific times, like it seems very overwhelming. But I think like I have a lot of hope for our future, like in like the technology and everything is only going to make it easier to interpret these things. But I know like I could see like somebody commenting or like saying, but there's so many twisted people that run these tech companies. It's like, yes, I know, but that's just for this season. Like that.
So, it's interesting. I don't know if I was saying this. I was listening to, again, I'm going to get the dates wrong, but
Mm,
there, everything always comes back into balance. So when you see the energy of, and again, we have the nodes, like the South node is going to be in Leo. And so what that does is that it's like the buildup to what I don't know what you're referencing, like specifically, or just the general, just sort of like looking at leadership and people have kind of gone to their heads, like
mm,
like I think that we may be seeing people in leadership positions, whether it's, private institutions or governments that have just gotten a little carried away with their power and their role in that. And there's always a balance that has to come back. And so that is what the South Node in Leo is going to do. It's going to kind of rein in and tame that lion energy. And when we've had this happen in the past, like in 2008, there was a correction in the financial markets that, and so I don't know what the correction will be this time, but there's always a correction that will occur. And then because the North Node is in Aquarius, that's like it's for there's going to be more um for the greater good of people, of
Mm-hmm.
society or in your own personal life. But the South Node in Leo, it's going to bring back kind of tame the ego that may have gotten out of control just in general. Like I'm not speaking about anything specific, but if you've seen like leadership in your own life that's gotten a little carried away, then that energy will be tamed and brought back into balance with where it should be. So there can be just more balance for everybody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's how that's what I believe. I mean, again, you can look back at history and see like what happened in the bigger news in the world. And if you look back at 2008, there was a lot of correction in financial markets. That was a big collapse. And I don't have like the dates of all that, but I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the woman, an astrologer, had a guest on there talking about the history going back 400 years, looking at all of these different revolutionary periods that were the revolutions came because there was an imbalance of power, leadership, or things were out of whack, the financial structures of things. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that in our own personal lives, we might find rebalancing if we've been a little too much, had too much ego, being out of balance. And I think that you'll see that in bigger structures as well around the world.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, it'd be like like amplified self-awareness in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, you can only, like, again, like you can only be out of balance so much, so long,
Mm,
nature always, you see acts of nature happen, and it's just to regain balance in the ecosystem, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, it's wild.
our lives. Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I know. I'm so stoked, honestly. Like,
You're always stoked.
yeah, it's very true.
But I think again,
Well,
you're going to
generally,
see, I mean, and like also with Venus and Jupiter being in Leo,
mm,
like it's going to be there until July 9th, I believe. Like they'll be together. So, because Venus will be in Leo from June 13th to July 9th, and then it moves into Virgo. But having Jupiter with Venus for those first 9 days of July, from July 1st to, well, June 30th to July 9th, you might see this, like, you might start to feel this like abundance of love again. Jupiter amplifies wherever it is. And when Jupiter's with Venus, that's why we felt such a great like love conjunction early in June. So you might feel like in your first house of who you are, like it's just a big glow up of sharing the love with people in your life and in your community. So
that's
take
amazing.
advantage of that energy. I mean, you're going to probably feel it more than usual in those first, the first week and a half of July. So
I love that.
yes,
Yeah,
get
and
excited.
how? No, I guess in another video we could talk about maybe for another video. Well, should we should close out this one a little bit because I think this
Sure.
one. Well, generally, I'm thinking of like the editing, but like how we should do that. But it's a very interesting like I don't know. I might just be confusing myself right now too. Which yeah, that does happen.
It's okay.
Brain injuries and you know, I don't know. It's a good excuse, but excuses are excuses, so it's kind of lame. But yeah, I don't know. I appreciate you for doing this call with
Of
me.
course. No, I apologize, but I think that like last week didn't work. Things happen, and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're meant to talk when you're meant to talk. So,
Yep.
and I feel like the message always gets conveyed the way it's supposed to, like not rushing. Sort of like we should never rush a conversation because it wasn't the timing wasn't right. And I think
Yeah.
that when people can just trust that energy, like whenever we try to force anything in our lives to happen, we might get what we want, but it could have been better or different, or
Yeah.
if we had just waited for the timing to be the right time.
Yeah. Waiting is such a hard thing for
Patience
sure.
for you as a
Yeah.
rising and an Aries sun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like just go, go, go.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that.
It's hilarious. It's like, yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking like a lot of these thought trains that I keep going on. I keep thinking like there's so many cool videos we could make, or video series, I guess you could say. Or well, depends on the thing.
Mhm.
And that mm, because I want to make a difference in the world. Like I want to help. I don't necessarily want the fame or that that spotlight effect of being that world renowned person.
It's just more about, I feel it's what's so cool about all these platforms, the opportunities you have, anybody has to share. But just like it's like for example, my youngest son, he launched this little YouTube channel, and
Oh
um,
yeah, the guitar.
yeah, and so he's putting out like little shorts like every day, and like a
Mm,
question of the day, and then a guitar riff, and it's allowing him to really tap into creativity. And he's like, I have 73 subs. He says he's like 73 subscribers, and so he's like so
that's
excited.
awesome.
But,
Yeah, that's awesome.
but meaning it's just like, so maybe you connect with one person or 10 people or 73 people, and they like there's not one person for everybody. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not everybody's going to click with somebody's voice or their message or their energy, which is amazing that we have so many opportunities to share on different platforms. Um, and again, like I know what you're saying, where you want to help or connect with people in general. I
Mm,
think connection is so important. We all want that as human beings. We want connection. And if you feel like you can impart some wisdom, knowledge on people, and then contribute to like helping them grow and helping them, or think about something in a different way than they thought about it, then that feels good. And it also feels like back to the humanitarian aspect of the changes that are coming up.
mm,
So I know it excites me. I mean, it's just all my Aquarius stuff. I have my moon in Aquarius, my Jupiter in Aquarius, and my midheaven. So I just love like sharing and teaching when I can. But we're not for everybody. So
so thank you so much, Mary,
you're welcome,
and
Holden.
you're making this magic happen.
I'm trying. And just so you guys know, like, this is unfiltered, or this is Holden to, what is it? Holden Unfiltered or Holden to,
Yeah, Holden Unfiltered.
we're just kind of like having a conversation. So I know the dates I get like might be wrong
Yeah.
every now and then, but I'm not like a walking, like I have to put these dates down and write them down. And so I apologize for, any information that was not accurate, but I can be accurate. And
Yeah.
people can, if they want to book a reading, they can go to www.goldenthreadastrology.com. That's my website. So, well,
Well,
thanks for inviting me. And I always enjoy our conversations, Holden.